Welcome to USA Fans. For those of you who have been holding the Iraqi dinar for years, for those who watch every minute fluctuation of the market, or for those who are simply waiting for that one decisive signal that changes everything, today's broadcast is destined to be historic. We stand at a precipice where the map of global politics is being redrawn. A seismic shift in power has occurred in Washington. The return of Donald Trump has sent massive tremors not only through American politics, but also down the marble corridors of the central bank in faraway Baghdad. And precisely at this moment in time, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has given Iraq an official green light. Many are wondering, what does all of this actually mean? Where does the future of the dinar truly stand amidst the return of Trump and Sudani's current banking reforms? Today we will analyze not rumors, not speculation, but the real events happening behind the closed doors of power. First, the context must be understood. When a powerful institution like the IMF supports a country's economic reform and monetary policy, it is not an opportunity to be taken lightly. It means that international financial standards are being met, and the foundation stone for a major economic transformation has been laid. Iraq is standing exactly at that point right now. But the question is, why now? Why are all these critical events converging at this very moment? This is where Donald Trump and his America First doctrine enter the arena. We know Trump is a tough, transactional dealmaker. He will never tolerate American dollars funneling through Iraq to finance enemies like Iran or other sanctioned regimes. This stance from Trump is a massive trial by fire for Prime Minister Al Sudani, but simultaneously it is his greatest opportunity. Observe closely Al Sudani's recent statements and aggressive actions. Why is he suddenly placing so much overwhelming emphasis on electronic payments, digital banking, and eliminating the use of cash dollars? Why is he conducting a severe purification operation in the banking sector in the name of anti-corruption? There is only one reason. Sudani knows that before sitting at Trump's table, he must prove that Iraq's banking system is now secure, transparent, and of international standard. He is essentially submitting his homework to Washington. Sudani understands very well that to achieve full freedom from international sanctions and the desired revaluation of the dinar, he absolutely needs Trump's support. To understand the dinar's future, we must first understand the mindset of the man re-entering the White House. Donald Trump views foreign policy through a transactional lens. What does America gain? And, more importantly, what threats are neutralized? For years, Iraq's economy has functioned as a vacuum for U.S. dollars. The Federal Reserve ships cash to Baghdad, and a significant portion of that cash vanishes, smuggled across borders to finance regimes that are hostile to the United States, primarily Iran. The previous administration tolerated this to a degree for the sake of fragile stability. Trump will not. His maximum pressure campaign is returning. This is the ultimatum facing Baghdad right now. The U.S. Treasury controls the spigot. They hold Iraq's oil revenues in New York. If Trump believes that releasing those funds or allowing a revaluation will benefit America's enemies, that spigot will remain tightly closed. Therefore, the pressure on Al Sudani is not just economic, it is existential. He is not just fighting for a currency rate, he is fighting for Iraq's sovereignty against the demands of an incoming American administration that brooks no nonsense. The message from Washington to Sudani is stark and clear. Secure your house, lock down your borders, digitize your currency so we can track every single dinar, or remain perpetually dependent on our charity. This pressure is the catalyst. Without this external threat from a Trump-led America, the reforms in Iraq would likely stall, as they have for a decade. Trump is the accelerant. Now look at Prime Minister Al Sudani. He is no passive observer. He is a man on a mission, a man racing against time. He knows the new sheriff is coming to town, and he must have his affairs in order. Every major move Sudani has made in the last 6 months is directly related to satisfying Western demands. Consider the aggressive push towards electronic payments. Why is the government forcing merchants to accept digital transactions? Why are they trying to eliminate physical cash in salaries? It is not just for convenience, it is for surveillance. Digital money can be tracked, cash cannot. By digitizing the economy, Sudani is telling the U.S. Treasury, look, we are closing the loopholes. The smuggling routes are drying up. Look at the banking sector purge. The Central Bank of Iraq, under Sudani's directive, has banned numerous banks from dealing in U.S. dollars. Why? Because those banks were identified as conduits for money laundering. This is Sudani cleaning house, showing he has the political will to confront the powerful mafias that have controlled Iraq's finance for years. Furthermore, look at Iraq's energized push for World Trade Organization accession. You can't enter the WTO with a pegged, manipulated, and sanctioned currency. The steps required for WTO membership mirror the steps required for a currency revaluation. Sudani is ticking every box on the international checklist. He is not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He is doing it because he wants the prize at the end. He wants Iraq to be a sovereign economic power in the Middle East, not a vassal state dependent on daily dollar auctions. While the political drama plays out between Washington and Baghdad, the technicians are at work. This brings us back to the International Monetary Fund. The IMF deals in cold mathematics and policy. When the IMF gives a green light or positive assessment of Iraq, it means the technical requirements for a major monetary shift are nearing completion. For years, the IMF has told Iraq, you cannot revalue your currency if your budget is based solely on volatile oil prices and your banking sector is the Wild West. What has changed? Iraq has increased its foreign currency reserves to historic levels. They have maintained relative stability in inflation recently. They are diversifying their revenue streams. The IMF's role here is crucial. They act as the global auditor. If Iraq wants to reintegrate into the global financial system, if they want the dinar to be tradable on forex platforms internationally, they need the IMF's stamp of approval. The recent positive signals from the IMF are the technical validation of Sudani's political reforms. It is the paperwork that proves the house is structurally sound enough to build upon. Without it, a revaluation would be economic suicide, leading to hyperinflation. With it, a revaluation becomes a viable policy tool. Now we connect the dots. We have the political will in Washington, Trump wanting to cut off Iran. We have the execution in Baghdad, Sudani reforming the banks. And we have the technical approval, the IMF. This brings us to the shadow deal, the convergence point. Trump is transactional. He wants something. Al Sudani wants something. Sudani wants the removal of sanctions and the ability to set a sovereign, internationally recognized value for his currency. He wants the purchasing power of his people to increase, stabilizing his own political power. Trump wants a guarantee that a wealthy Iraq does not equal a wealthy Iran. The deal that is likely taking shape behind closed doors is this. The U.S. Treasury will unlock Iraq's full potential, allowing the Central Bank of Iraq to finally pull the trigger on the currency reform only if Sudani proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the banking sector is sealed tight against America's enemies. The IMF approval was the prerequisite. The banking reforms are the evidence. The return of Trump is the catalyst that forces the conclusion. We are no longer waiting for if it will happen. We are watching the final negotiations of how it will happen. Before concluding this analysis, I must return to reality.
Many think that IMF approval or Trump's return means the price of the dinar will skyrocket tomorrow morning. It is my duty to be honest with you. Stating the reality is far more important than selling false hope. The answer is no. It will not happen overnight. Changing currency value on such a large scale is a complex process that happens in stages. A sudden massive jump could shock the Iraqi economy. It is far more likely we will see a managed, gradual process, a silent start, if you will, that has already begun, with the parallel market rate converging with the official rate. Do not listen to dates, listen to actions. Watch the implementation of the electronic systems, watch the borders, watch the upcoming meetings between Sudani's team and Trump's transition team. At this moment, the most important things for you are security and correct information. Whenever such big news breaks,